This is the best of Chad Benson.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Mr. Chairman, there are 23 ayes and 17 noes.
The article is agreed to. The resolution as amended is ordered reported favorably to the House.
Favorably. 23-17, a final score. A fantastic day indeed. And you saw the way that the ayes played. They were quick. They played good defense. They did what they had to do. The nays attacked where they had the chance, but the reality was it was stacked against them because there's more ayes than nays in this game. We should have announcers at these things. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome live. We're in this room in the middle of D.C., and it is going to be an exciting day of old people talking about the same thing for up to 14 hours before suddenly saying we're going to vote on it tomorrow. It was like cricket. You ever watch cricket? It's a game. Lasts a long time. Test matches last a very long time. 3 days. 3 days. 3 days. 3 days. That's a long time. Sometimes they'll break for dinner, tea. What are you doing? Gotta have a snack. Middle of the game. Okay. Oh, goodness. So here we go. What's this mean? Nothing. It means next week we're going to have an actual vote next week on the House floor to take it to the Senate for a removal, right? So he'll be impeached, right? So like that's real. That's big news. He'll be impeached. So I want everybody to understand that. Impeachment does not mean removal. Too often than not, people don't understand that. What do you mean? No, impeachment, removal, separate things, right? Impeachment is what just took place. The first step towards the final vote on impeachment just took place. Now they'll have the final vote, and then away we go. Oh, yeah. Is what it is. Is what it is. I saw Nancy Pelosi today talking about the fact that somebody said, doesn't this feel like it's moving rather fast? And she's like, oh, no. We've been working this for 22 months. I'm like, well, that seems a bit odd because that was before. Like, this is like 3 months ago. So yes, they've been working on it since. That's the way it is. Now the question is, what about Trump? Right? What's his legacy like?
This is the beginning of the process of him going down in history as only the third president to be impeached. Andrew Johnson, Bill Clinton, Richard Nixon, obviously resigning before it reached this level. This is something the president did not want, a scar on his legacy.
He doesn't care. Right? He doesn't. He enjoys this stuff. He enjoys this kind of stuff. I don't think he cares one bit. Well, he just told me he doesn't want a mark on his legacy. No. What he wants is to know that he survives it, comes out on the other side and goes near, then wins again. So the minute all this was said and done, Trump had to come on out and do what Trump does, which is talk about the fact that this took place.
I think it's a horrible thing to be using the tool of impeachment, which is supposed to be used in an emergency, and it would seem many, many, many years apart, to be using this for a perfect phone call where the president of that country said there was no pressure whatsoever, didn't even know what we were talking about. It was perfect.
Perfect. Never been better. Again, never in the history of phone calls has there been anything as good as what took place there. And they're killing me for it. Oh, now the question is, what's going to go on at the White House as far as getting this thing ready? How does Mitch McConnell deal with it?
Let's hope that there's sufficient clamor within the Senate and within the country to make him rethink this idea of coordinating strategy with the defendant in the case. The president is essentially a constitutional defendant.
Yeah, except for the fact that this is politics, right? And it's when everybody's running around screaming all day, well, it shouldn't be about politics. This should be, no, here it is all about politics. That's all this thing is. It's about politics. Case in point, even last night, right? Last night, Nadler's like, I'm so tired.
The vote this committee just took was not a vote on final passage of the article. It was a procedural vote which precedes final passage of each of the articles. It has been a long 2 days of consideration of these articles, and it is now very late at night. I want the members on both sides of the aisle to think about what has happened over these last 2 days and to search their consciences before we cast our final votes. Therefore, the committee will now stand in recess until tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., at which point... Whoa!
Yeah, people are not thrilled, right? Why? Because it's politics. You want to make sure you have the most amounts of eyeballs on it. Doing it overnight is not something that gets people excited. You want to make sure you hit it flush and early, and everybody was like, oh, come on, really?
This committee is more concerned about getting it on TV in the morning than it was finishing its job tonight and letting the members go home.
Yeah, and that's what it was. I mean, but that's the politics of it all. Therein lies what this is all about. It's about the politics. Because you don't really have a bipartisan thing happening here. What you have is one group taking on another group. And in this arena right here, the House, that group's ruled by the Democrats. In the Senate, it's ruled by the Republicans. And you're not going to get anybody to sway from where they are unless it's politically expedient for them personally. As we talked about yesterday, it's about who? It's about them as individuals, not about the party or the people, but about them. And so if it makes sense to jump from one side to another, they will do it. But because everything in this tribal world that we live in, there's very little purple, it's red or blue. And if your base is one of those and you happen to be the other side of that base, right, as far as your color, right? So you're in a position where you've got, a lot, you're red, but you got a ton of blue, but they like you, but they're looking at you. Maybe you think about it, right? On the other side, if you're blue and you're in an area that Trump won and possibly could win again, and it's a lot more red with maybe a hint of purple, you're probably saying to yourself, like Jeff Frandrew and a few of these others out there, I've got to do what's politically expedient for myself in my life, so I might say nah on this. Even though my party's going for it, me personally, I got to do this for me. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. With all of that being said, Trump has a pal on the other side of the pond who now will be able to move the Brits away from Europe after yesterday's massive vote, in which everybody thought, well, this is going to be a nail biter. This is absolutely a nail biter. The polls were showing, people were talking about how close this is, how Boris Johnson was really getting everything handed to him, and the vote took place yesterday.
Britain has woken up to a landslide victory by Conservative Party leader and Trump favourite Boris Johnson. It's the biggest win for a Conservative Prime Minister since Margaret Thatcher more than 30 years ago. Now, his campaign was characterised by disinformation, I think it's fair to say, but Johnson's Get Brexit Done slogan cut through in a huge way. It demolished the opposition in areas that had voted to leave the European Union 3 years ago.
Yeah, so he'll be able to do that. And he's got a majority now. So this is going to get done. He had promised people that. And Labor, which was the Liberals, they just did a very poor job in what they were trying to do. And it's over. It's done now. And again, this is the third election they've had in like 16 months. Is that insane? We can barely handle one every 4 years of massive proportions, right? I mean, again, we have the midterms, but that's not like what we have coming up next year. We can barely handle one, and partly because it feels like in our world, people never stop campaigning. Over there, it's a much different thing. They call for general election. You can call for it. Like, we're going to call for setting a date for general elections. It's going to be, March 3rd. Oh, okay. That's when we're going to do it. As here, where we know where it's coming, we know what it is, and so you can plan, but it's very much everybody's always running here. It just seems like everybody's always running. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love talking to each and every one. You can text the program as well. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. He was interesting, has a hell of an actor, but he has left us, Mr. Danny Aiello.
Acclaimed character actor Danny Aiello has died. Best known for roles in Godfather 2.
Michael Corleone says hello.
Moonstruck opposite Cher, and he got an Oscar nomination for playing Sal the pizza place owner in Do the Right Thing.
You're going to pay now, you're going to pay on layaway.
Danny Aiello was 86.
Yeah, and he was also in that Madonna video, Papa Don't Preach. Remember that? Yeah. Lived that's a good life, man. 86. Good life right there. Good life. I was thinking today, man, I've seen him in a ton of stuff. He's played, he was a great character actor. He was an interesting character himself. And it's like one of those things where there's a regular guy who kind of really made it. Got himself an Oscar nomination. That's a win right there. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson shows your Twitter. MyPillow. Amazing. Love MyPillow. Got mine. Woke up extra early today because I got in here early, and well, lo and behold, after my shower, I'm like, oh, there's my MyPillow showers. Oh, yeah, there's them towels I like. Incredible. 5 designer color choices, right? So you get 5 different ones, and there is no, this is what I love about. First of all, they're big. You get 30 by 56 bath towels, and you've got, and they're extra just soft, and they're so absorbent. You got hand towels, 16 by 30, and you got the washcloths too. And the luxury feel, there's no fillers or, cheap softeners and that stuff. And it's just, it's so absorbent. You only need 1 towel. So often you need like 2 towels because because you don't get a good towel. You feel the difference. They suck. Not these. These are amazing. And right now you can save 30%. 30% on these. You get a 60-day money-back guarantee. All you have to do is mypillow.com, click on the new radio listener special. You're going to save 30% off these towels. Again, 5 different colors, 60-day money-back guarantee, 100% USA cotton. Get yours now. Enter promo code Benson when you go to the new radio listener special. MyPillow.com, MyPillow.com, new radio listener specials. Enter promo code Benson, save 30%. Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
A man named James Bond is proving to be the Salvation Army's Goldfinger for secret donations. Last Saturday in Noblesville, Indiana, Mr. Bond got an unexpected treasure in his kettle outside of Walgreens. Someone gave a 1915 Australian gold coin valued at around $1,500. The Salvation Army has a history of gold donations that includes coins, wedding rings, and even the occasional gold tooth.
Yeah. We're just talking about James Bond because, they're trying to figure out who's the next one. Daniel Craig has confirmed this is it. People are like, it's going to be a woman. It's going to be. I'm like, no, you can't do that. No, you can't. No, you can't do that. Right? Like, there's some things that they're just like, no. Sorry. No. No. Well, it's an idea, James Bond's. It's at some point you're going to ruin something because you think this is the great thing to do, right? Because it's politically woke. We'll make it a woman. No, you're not. That's not, James Bond is James Bond. Well, I just think it could easily be a woman. I'm just like, no. Right? They're talking about Tom Hardy, right? Idris Elba, both of them perfect choices. Got no problem with either of them. But a woman? That's just silly. Right? Like, to me, that is just, at that point, what are you doing? Hey, you guys want to go see James Bond? It's a woman now. Well, a woman can't do it. No, who? So James Bond is going to be James Bond, but a woman? Yeah. Doesn't make sense. Sorry. Like, that's stupid. At what point do you stop saying, all right, I'm over it. Like, that's a shark that is way too far for me to even think we could jump.
Ruth Balloon, yes, that's her real name, decided to check her bank balance this week and was shocked to find that she had $37,203,337.66 in her checking account. She was hoping against hope that it was an incredibly generous gift from someone and not a clerical error. Well, it was a clerical error. Ruth is hoping for a little thank you reward from the bank for her honesty in reporting the mistake. So far, she hasn't heard back.
Why should you get a reward for an accident? You didn't find $36 million on the street. Like, you turning it in at that point, because you can see why, right? This was a clerical error, and you're like, well, I would like to get some money. For what? For reporting it? Because if you'd went out and spent it, you would have been stealing. It's amazing. Like, people, oh, man, that'd be great. It'd be great. Because you hear about that every once in a while. And people think, oh. Like, if you wake up today and you have $1 million in your bank account that you didn't have, and you think to yourself, I'm going to go spend it all right now. They'll never find out. Oh, they'll find out. And then you'll have to pay it back. Then you're going to be charged with a crime. Then you're going to end up in jail. And then you won't be able to pay it all back. So when you get out, you'll have tons of fines. So that's why you just go, hey, is this a mistake? And maybe they say, no, you had a great, great, great aunt apparently that died, and she had several $1 million and, several family members. Maybe that's it. Or, an unknown benefactor that wants no part of anything gave you that money. Then they, oh, yeah, that's exciting. And if you go spend the money and the bank says, oh, sorry, well, you got that at least. But the thought process that somebody accidentally put something in there, the bank, and you tell them that, and, oh, can I have a reward, is so stupid. People are silly. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Free to tweet at me. Speaking of silly, what do people spend money on? We're going to touch on that. I'll tell you why they do it as well. It's funny, but it's real. Plus, oh man, hackers hacking everything. Wait till you hear this story. A little bit more about impeachment as well. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
The Chad Benson Show.
This is the best of Chad Benson.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The Democrats have been wanting to do this for 3 years. The first headline in the Washington Post before the president was inaugurated was they were going to impeach him. Well, they finally got around to it. Everything I do during this, I'm coordinating with White House counsel. There will be no difference between the president's position and our position as to how to handle this. But we'll be working through this process, hopefully in a fairly short period of time, in total coordination with the White House counsel's office and the people who are representing the president in the well of the Senate.
Yeah, they're right there. Mitch McConnell. He should do voiceovers. Marriage. So, they voted today to move the articles out of committee to a full debate on the House floor, which I believe will take place probably Wednesday, if it's not too late for Nadler. I'm really tired. It's not too late for him. They'll have a full House vote, and then it'll go to early next year. They'll take everything up in the Senate, and we'll see what takes place. And by the way, next week we have a debate on Thursday night, and they still have to get the budget done, or there could be a potential shutdown. All of this needs to take place next week before they all go on recess. It's winter break. Recess. So that's got to happen. Will it happen? Don't know. Because at this day and age, with the way that people act and the craziness and how the games are being played, it may take them a little bit longer to get to something. So don't be surprised if something goes wrong or next thing you know, they keep them over until at least the 23rd or 24th just because they like to screw with each other, because that there is politics.
For these people to
These
say
people?
me, they would say me. You said, do me a favor. No, it didn't say that. It said, do us a favor, our country.
Ooh, perfect phone call. Do us a favor. Do us a favor. Do us a favor. How about you guys do us all a favor? And let's just get this done as fast as possible. You know, I was telling somebody yesterday, they're like, well, America should be paying attention to us. I don't think America cares. I said, do you want to know how much they care and don't care? If this had to be on pay-per-view, what do you think that looked like? Would you pay to watch this? Now, some political people would, but if it was the average person going about their day, would you pay to watch this? How much? I don't know. What would it be worth? Would you pay to watch it? I'm thinking, yeah. Most people would say, nah. No, I wouldn't. And they'd say, well, you know, we don't, it doesn't matter what we say or any of this. But I think that most people, if you ask them, hey, you've got to pay to watch this thing, they're like, oh, I'll just read about it in the news later on. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Craziness. You got to watch out. People hack into every single thing, from cameras to phones to your you name it. They can hack into it.
Who is that? I'm your best friend.
As 8-year-old Alyssa LeMay stood in her room, a terrifying voice spoke to her.
I'm Santa Claus. Don't you want to be my best friend?
The horrifying sound coming from this Ring security camera installed in the child's bedroom, which she shares with her two sisters.
I come upstairs and I hear some banging noise. I was like, who's that? I don't know who you are.
I'm Santa Claus.
I'll let you guys know that's not Santa Claus. Because first of all, Santa Claus wouldn't sound that stupid. I'm Santa Claus. Like, really? Because if you're Santa, you could skip my house. What if the kid's like, I'm Jewish. No, I'll pass. Thank you. But I'm Santa Claus. But it's creepy, right? It's creepy. The TVs. We're all up to the point now. Like, have you ever been like where you're walking and, you know, maybe you're getting dressed and you've got maybe you got a laptop open, you got a camera, and you're just like, I'm just going to shut this because just in case. And here I've got like a Mevo camera and I've got another camera because I'll do live streaming and some stuff like that. And it does feel weird when you're sitting in here sometimes and you'll be like, you're talking to yourself, trying to get stuff ready. Well, we're going to go with this. And, you know, or you're talking to somebody on the phone and you're thinking, is anybody listening? Yeah. Is it? Hey, the way it is, man, if it's out there and it doesn't matter what it is, it'll be hacked.
For 5 minutes, the voice taunting the young girl, playing strange music, even instructing her to destroy her room.
Can mess up your room, can break your TV, can do whatever you want.
The LeMay family installed the camera just days before the device was apparently hacked.
I watched the video, and I mean, like, they could watch them sleeping, they could have watched them changing. I mean, they could have seen all kinds of things.
Yeah, and that's creepy, right? I mean, long gone is the, what was it, Erin Andrews? You remember when they got her through the peephole and that guy ended up going to jail? That stuff. Now, the thing in your hand could be spying on you, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it, right? Except for to go so off the grid that you try to appear like you go, you know, right? Jason Bourne, where like you're not going to be seen.
This just the latest hack of an in-home security camera. Over the weekend, a Florida family says they were spied on in their living room.
Can you bring like a web browser up on your phone and then type in the website that I tell you? No.
And earlier this year in Washington State, the owner of this Nest camera recorded a hacker harassing her family.
That's creepy. Creepy. Very creepy. Just nuts. It is. It's crazy. And remember, we big brothered ourselves in a lot of ways, from cameras on the streets to in a want for safety, which is a good thing. I understand the want for safety, but it's not even just take away the cameras you can put on, in home and stuff. It's like we have cameras everywhere. Why? Because we also want to be seen, but we want to pick and choose when we get seen. We want to know what's going on. We opted in to life in front of a camera in a very weird way. And so we surround ourselves with cameras, and because of that, we're vulnerable.
But Ring says in the Memphis case, their security was not breached, adding hackers often reuse credentials stolen or leaked from one service on other services. To protect your privacy, security experts say you should use a strong and unique password. The longer, the more secure. Change them often and set up two-factor authentication to ensure a hacker has to work twice as hard to break in, something the LeMay family admits did not do.
I don't know who you are.
I'm Santa Claus.
I'm Santa Claus. Sad. It's gross. Just like that to me is again. You're looking into a child's room. Yeah, just heebie-jeebies. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from every single one of you. You can text the program as well as tweet at us. Check us out on the Instagram. The gram, kids. The gram. So, are we going to do it? Are we going to get rid of meat?
Plant-based meat, or fake meat as some might call it, is wildly popular, especially on Wall Street.
Fake meat is turning into real profit.
The stock market debut for Beyond Meat went beyond.
The hottest IPO of 2019 so far.
This stock has a cult-like following.
It's going to sweep over the world.
Our mission is very simple. It's to completely replace animals as a food technology by 2035. It's basically a prehistoric technology.
Yeah, peak meat. So it's to get rid of everything that we possibly can meat-wise because of how much damage these critters do. And they want to do it by 2030. That would be 11-ish years from now, give or take. You know how we go. Maybe get there a little bit early, maybe get there a little bit late. But we have to do it. Scientists said this is the largest emission source or land occupiers, and that is what? Livestock. So if we reduce this, we can get rid of this, we can reduce about 1.5 degrees centigrade, right? And that's what we need to do this. We have to get rid of meat. I like meat. I've tried. Look, let me tell you something. I've tried the Beyond Meat and all the other stuff, and it tastes pretty damn good. And I did it. I think it would have tasted better, but mine got a little cold because they were giving them out, and by the time I got to the point where I ate it, it was a little bit later. But I took everything off the bun except for the meat itself because you can disguise a lot of stuff in there, and I want to taste it, and it tastes pretty good. So is this really are we going to really get it? No, we're not going to do that. And my question is, what do we do with all these animals? Do we just kill them all? I mean, is that what we do? I mean, if they're the biggest source of it, and look, you know what, Phil and Anthony and I are trying our hardest to keep up with and consume as many as possible. But what do we do with the animals is I think it's a very real thing. Like, we don't want to kill them. Well, but they're the source of it. They're the source because of their flatulence and how much, space they occupy and all of these things. Do we just get rid of them all? Is it one fell culling where we just kill them all, or how's that work? But we're never getting rid of all meat because we like meat. We do. For health reasons, should we look at alternatives to meat? Absolutely. But I do like me a good steak, and they ain't done that yet. Right? Have they done that yet, Phil? I don't think they've done that yet.
They have not done that yet.
You can hide yourself in a burger, a certain thing, but, they ain't done that yet. Just throwing it out there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Raycons. holiday season. You're saying to yourself, I need to get some other presents for people. You're looking around. You say, well, what do you got over there? We've got the best earbuds around, period, case closed. Premium wireless earbuds that cost half as much, if not a third of the price of all these other ones that got the stems and the wires, and they got the name, but the sound quality is But you're buying the name. Don't do it. Buy the quality. That's where Raycons come in. The E25 is the best one yet. 6 hours of playtime. Seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, compact design, so incredible. It's so, you put them in there, you barely feel them, and the noise isolating fit, well, you're going to love it. So when you're making phone calls, listening to whatever you're listening to, you're going to love it. Absolutely incredible. When Ray J put these things together, he took them to the people that matter in the music industry and said, you guys are musicians. You're Melissa Etheridge, Cardi B, Brandy, Snoop Dogg. Take a listen to these. What do you think of these? Give me the real honest feedback. They did. That's why you have these E25s. They're incredible. Now's the time to get them. Save big right now on top of the big savings. Save another 15%. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. 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 Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
The Chad Benson Show, the only place so far that the Mueller investigation hasn't deep probed for collusion.
Stay tuned.
This is Chad Benson.
Buddy Rick just tweeted at us, and we were talking about it off the air. You know, with all the fake meat and everything that's out there, you look at these things and you're like, okay, what's in these things, first of all? And he's like, and we were talking about it, and producer Anthony's like, look at the sodium level and look at a lot of this stuff that's in these things. It's nuts. Yeah, so like, are we going to look back in 5 years and go, okay, good, we got rid of all the meat. Oh, by the way, the stuff that we were putting on our bodies was so bad for us. Oh, yeah, that's a possibility, because we're not going to be around to see the planet because these things killed us. Oh, I'll just stick with my little bit of plant, little bit of meat, and go from there.
The top spot at the box office this weekend, and no, it isn't Frozen 2.
Where's the jungle? This is a whole new thing. Nobody told us we had to do a whole new thing.
Jumanji, the next level, will dethrone the Ice Queens, looking at an opening somewhere in the $40 to $50 million range, which would be better than the first film in 2017. Also opening, the horror remake Black Christmas and Clint Eastwood's Richard Jewell.
You always look at the guy who found the bomb, just like you always look at the guy who found the body.
Which is generating award season buzz as well as controversy.
Yeah, I'm going to be going to see Jumanji tomorrow morning. Jack and I are going to see it. It should be fun. It looks fun. The first one was really good. The relaunch, remake, whatever it was. I wasn't a fan of the first movie, and this one looks again interesting and fun, and that's what you want. That's what I want. So tell everybody, that's what I want in my movies. I'm going to go sit down. We're going to eat breakfast there. We're going to pig out, have crap we're not supposed to have that early in the morning, but we're celebrating my birthday and everything. So Jack and I are going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to go see Jumanji. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I like The Rock, and I think Kevin Hart just makes me laugh. Was I reading this week that Jack Black, who's turning 50 or turned 50, said he's going to be done with movies? Like, I see why certain people... Right? Like Daniel Day-Lewis. Like, people's like, why did he retire? If you know anything about the guy, if he does a part, he'll study it for 6 months or a year. He becomes the character. He does it for that year or so that he does plus the movie. He lives it the entire time. My buddy worked on Abraham Lincoln. The Lincoln movie. You were only allowed to dress him as Mr. Lincoln or President Lincoln. I mean, he lives it. And so you get into that, and I could see how that could be exhausting. Right? And then maybe after a while you have trouble getting out of it. But Jack Black, really? You going to retire? Just going to do music full time? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Yes, if you haven't heard, Trump, the real first step in impeachment after the articles, was voting it out of the House committees, and that happened today.
Today is a solemn and sad day
For the third time in a little over a century and a half, the House Judiciary Committee has voted articles of impeachment against the President for abuse of power and obstruction of Congress.
So now it's on to the full Senate, which will take place next. I'm assuming it is going to be next Wednesday. And they will vote on it then, which at that point in time, once it passes, it will then go to the Senate where the removal trial will begin. Because that's, the impeachment will happen. The removal trial takes place in the Senate. So Nadler delayed it last night. He delayed, he sashayed, and then they voted. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Read a tweet at me. Love hearing from you. Tom Joyner, one of the great radio people's retiring today at 70. Guy's the hardest working man in radio that's not me. But that guy's life, the things that he did for black colleges and everything else. But tell you what, for years, he commuted every single day from Dallas to Chicago, did morning show and afternoon shows. 7 million frequent flyer miles. Crazy. Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
This is the best of Chad Benson.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I hope that we are able to work together to hold this president or any president accountable for breaking his most basic obligations to the country and to its citizens. And while you think about that choice, please keep in mind that, one way or the other, President Trump will not be president forever. When his time is past, when his grip on our politics is gone, when our country returns, as surely it will, calmer times and stronger leadership, history will look back on our actions here today. How would you be remembered?
Well, their goal is to still be there. That's the whole point. And so they'll be remembered as people that are still there, even when he's gone. Because they vote against him, they'll be gone. And they'll be remembered as the people who voted against him in a Wikipedia page. Outside of that, they won't be remembered as anything else. That's it. In fact, you've got several Democrats now that are making noise like, maybe we should do something else. Maybe there is another way. Maybe why? Because they're scared. They're scared because they're in districts that either Trump won or is favored to win, and they're Democrats, and they're looking around saying, well, if I vote and I could be ousted, and that would not be good. Ooh. So they're starting to think about it. I think they feel that as they look around, and I continue to tell people, listen, people get mad. Like, well, it should be about the truth. And this is why the Republicans fail. You're getting Democrats now that are saying, no, I don't know if I can do this. Why? Because of the truth or because of their job? Right? It's their job that they're looking at. We've said it over and over again. At the end of the day, they care about a singular thing, and that singular thing is their job. Yeah. So you can go out and say, oh, how do you want to be remembered? What about this? What about that? You can say all of those things. But if you're sitting there and you're saying to yourself, I got a wife or a husband, I got kids, I worked my butt off to get here, and now I'm going to have to go back in the private sector. We're going to have to uproot. I mean, you start going through all of these. I mean, there's things that are popping in your mind all the time. What's it going to be like, and how's this going to... They're enjoying this. They like what they're doing, right? So you can say, well, the Republicans are evil and they're not looking at the truth, or the Democrats are overreaching, but at the end of the day, every person has to do what's best, not for the people in this situation, but what's best for them. Because as human beings, and I think we forget that they're human beings, they're still going to do what's best for them. That's the reality of politics, especially modern politics. So they're going to make the choice that serves them the best, not the people, even at this point, probably not even the party, but themselves. I can't blame them for it. Most human beings work that way. Today, you're at work, have an opportunity to do something, but you realize it may go wrong and you could be fired, and you look around and you say, I like what I do. My life's pretty good. I'm going to do what's best for me. And that's what it's all about. It's not about truth. It's not about, we need to worry about the truth and this is, how do you want to be remembered? It's not about that stuff. It's about, what's best for me? How's this affect me? Because if it affects me negatively, I'm not going to do it. Right? There's this romanticism of sacrifice, right? There's this and there are some politicians that look at this and, it's like John McCain. Everybody romanticizes John McCain as the maverick. Why? Because he went against his own party a few times. In this day and age, that's huge, right? That's a maverick because he thought outside the box. He did his own thing. Very few people do those things. Very few people fall on a grenade. You go look at all politics across the board. Take out even this situation. Look at the things in the political world that need to be dealt with. But we talked about it on a million occasions, and we'll talk about it again. You have to have a certain sense of, I'm doing this. This is the hill I'm standing on. This will probably cost me my political career, but this is something that needs to be done because it's the right thing to do. Very few people have that. We overthink and we give too much thought process into these people are doing it for the right reasons, for the Constitution. Oh my God, they're individual human beings who do it for themselves. That's it. And they're going to do what's best for them, both the Republicans and the Democrats. What's best for their base, what keeps them in power, what raises them money, what keeps them in power. That's the truth. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from every single one of you. I just, I look at this again today and I say to myself, this is the thing where you stand back and you say, if you really want to get a look at politics, because people will tweet at me, people will text at me, and they'll say, well, the Republicans do this, and they're ignoring this, that, and the other. And I said, well, Democrats are starting to turn, too. There are several of them who are making noise that we shouldn't do these kind of things. So what about them? Well, they're worried about losing their jobs and their positions. There you go. That's what it's all about. Start to understand that, and then just let it flow.
Whether you like President Trump or not, it doesn't matter. This is serious as 4 heart attacks and a stroke now. What happened with these rogue agents under Mr. Comey's FBI cannot stand. We asked Mr. Horowitz today, well, are the agents gone? Many of them are still there. We don't know whether they're still in charge of FISA applications. I said in committee today, it's easier to divorce your spouse than get fired around here.
Yeah. And he's right. The more I'm reading through some of these things, just how ridiculous some of this stuff was. And I kept coming back, last night. So we had our Christmas party that went to last night, holiday party, whatever people want to call it. And, and then I get in and it's late, but I'm like, I got to work. I got a lot of stuff to do. I'm start preparing and I'm reading through some of these things. And it all kept coming back to me. It's like, did anybody get fired for any of these things? Like, for people changing, Carter Page worked for the FBI, didn't work for I'll just change it to whatever is necessary. I mean, did anybody get fired? Did anybody pay the price? You're leaving out things, you're going in. I mean, did anybody? But no, in government, they don't, right? Go back and look at all of the things from the VA debacle, right? To the IRS thing, to God knows everything in between. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. Getting fired is virtually impossible. All they do is they take a page from the world of the Pope and the Catholic Church and just move you around places. But getting rid of you, no.
Director Wray needs to step up and fire them. The FBI is the premier law enforcement agency in all of human history. But Mr. Comey's rogue agents have hurt that institution badly. And Director Wray's got to fix it. And he's got to start by cutting these agents off like a dead stump. At a minimum, do what would happen to them in the private sector and fire them. And carefully consider criminal referral for all those who deserve it.
And I think that's a real thing. But no, nobody's going to get fired. Nobody's going to get in trouble for this. None of this stuff's going to happen. But I think it's a fair question to ask. And while they're running around celebrating, oh, look, told you there was no bias. No, but there was a lot of horrific things that you did. So you shouldn't celebrate that. You shouldn't celebrate all the times you stomped on the Constitution, all the times your people bent over backwards and did insane things, all the time. I mean, just if you were watching that yesterday, any part of that hurt any part of Horowitz's stuff about the IG. Take away the deep state and the baloney there. Look at the actual just what they did, how they went about doing things and surveilling people like Carter Page and all of this stuff and how this stuff was. Look at this. And you got to say to yourself, as an American, yeah, this stuff's uncomfortable. There was a problem here. So celebrate your quote unquote non-political bias. We were totally above board and everything, and start saying to ourselves, wow, we really screwed up. We made some serious mistakes along the way. We had some people that were just doing whatever the hell it seemed like they were doing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from every single one of you. Hope you have a good and vulnerable day. Man, fun party last night. I was telling producer Phil, the Santa suit is the ultimate hashtag Me Too repellent. It's like, you sat on my lap. I was just sitting there talking to somebody else, and you came and sat on my lap. Oh, it was a lot of fun, though. I'm just saying. Throwing it out there. Had a good time. Treated great. We had a lot of fun. And, man, it's really interesting. You ever go, like, I don't know about you, Phil, like you've been to, I'm sure, a ton of these. Do you ever go to like some of these parties and, for Christmas and they bring your spouse or whatever and you look at them and you're like, wow, you married up. Yep. Oh, my goodness me. It's fun to see people. It's fun to see people, man. And some people you're like, I don't hang out with you outside, and you can put them down. That's all I'm saying. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Wounded Paw, an amazing organization, incredible organization. They rescue dogs, right? So they identify dogs in shelters, and then they rescue them, right? And they train them to be service dogs. So shelter dogs are service dogs. And they recognize the need that's out there. Take, for instance, this time of year, right? It's the holidays, it's Christmas times. We've got so many veterans, first responders and their families who are struggling this time of year. And with all kinds of things, whether it's PTSD or physical, because of being wounded in the line of duty or serving our country. And these animals go so far in changing lives and the outlooks for our veterans, first responders, and their family. Their motto is save a paw, save a life. And right now they're looking for your help, and it's simple and easy. It's an easy thing to do with the gift of a vehicle. A lot of people out there have extra vehicles, right? And you're saying to yourself, I was going to trade it in. I don't even know what it's worth. You know what? Get a great tax-deductible gift and see what that little gift can do and how far it can go in changing lives. Simple and easy to donate. Go to woundedpawproject.org, woundedpawproject.org. They also take cash as well. So you can donate there or call 844-678-4PAW, 844-678-4729 or woundedpawproject.org. Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
Take a fake news break. Check out the really important news of the day at our website, ChadBensonShow.com. Once there, click on Chad's free podcast and get real. The Chad Benson Show, where truth and the American way live. Print free.
Zealand police say the recovery attempt will go ahead, even though scientists believe another eruption on White Island is possible. Mark Inman is the brother of one of those missing.
It's not frustration that they can't get out to the island. It's more frustration that they haven't gone to the island. There's been two perfect opportunities to get out there, and we haven't gone. Red tape, bureaucracy, leadership has failed. We need them home.
The continuing volcanic activity cited for the delay. In addition to the bodies left on the island, dozens were severely burned by the blast of scalding steam and ash.
Yeah. Nobody. Here's the thing. Like you want everybody to go out there, but now they're talking about they're putting this at a very high probability of another explosion, and you don't even know because of the ash, because of all of that stuff, where you're looking. It's not like I think if you pinpointed where the bodies and it's horrible to say, but that's the reality of it is if you can even find them, because you got to remember they're probably buried beneath ash, right? And that's if there's even anything of them left because of the explosion, how hot. I mean, there's just so many different things that go into this. And it's nature. I mean, it sounds, we joke about it here, but the reality is nature will indeed mess you up. And not paying any attention and heeding warnings in a situation like this is what ends up taking place. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. With all of that going on, still trying to figure out what in God's name took place in New Jersey the other day.
The building targeted, say law enforcement officials, and that motive still being investigated. Documents found inside a stolen U-Haul driven by one of the suspects look to religious writings, and federal and state officials tell us that they hope to reveal to the public more of what they've discovered after poring over those documents all night long.
Yeah, I guess in one of the letters, they said that their creator made them do this, their God made them do this. It is, it's definitely anti-Semitic and a hate crime. And this Black Hebrew Israelites, they were a hate group. They've been labeled a hate group, and they've been known for all kinds of stuff, including having tons of sidewalk ministers who have this bizarre form of the way that they preach and theology. And they believe that the chosen ones are Black, Native American, and Hispanic people, and everybody else is essentially against them. And they found some sort of manifesto, and they did find a bomb that they said was viable and was usable. And luckily, they did not use it, which is, again, it could have been so much worse. And we talked about it yesterday, how you go from being just a person who gets into something like this to the next thing you know, you and your loved one, your girlfriend, are out deciding, hey, today's the day, I'm going to go blast a bunch of people. Crazy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Hot and heavy, flirty dancing. Not names of horrible bands, although they should be. Talk about it straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
The Chad Benson Show.
This is the best of Chad Benson.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
It's a little hard to believe that Burisma hired Hunter Biden to resolve their international disputes when he could not resolve his own dispute with Hertz rental car over leaving cocaine and a crack pipe in the car.
I would say that the pot calling the kettle black is not something that we should do.
That right there was Matt Gaetz of Florida, and Hank Johnson, he's a Democrat, who said, the pot calling the kettle black. And the reason for that is, first of all, Hunter Biden's talked about the fact that he's had drug issues and alcohol issues. I really don't care. I hope he gets over them. Okay? I do. I hope he gets over them, and that's the reality of that. But Matt Gaetz bringing that up is kind of odd, right? Like, he was arrested for DUI charges, right? He was driving back from the Swamp. It's a nightclub, not the actual stadium that they call it. He's had tons of speeding tickets. How about this? He got, this is insane, some of the speeding tickets he's gotten that he's been popped for. There's just, it's one of those things where he got him dismissed, but why you do that? Like that's right. And I'm going to say this, right? I've met him, I think, twice, Matt Gaetz. Little douchepalooza, I'm going to say it. This is what it comes across as me. Sorry. People offended out there. And some of his politics, I look at it, he's done some stuff. Gay rights. He sponsored a bill in 2015 with a Democrat named Dave Richardson to repeal the ban on same-sex adoptions. And he is, there's things that he's done that I kind of like, but at the same time, that kind of stuff right there, that's what turns so many people off to politics. That does. That's like a bad relationship. We're like, hey, you remember that thing that you did 15 years ago? I'm going to bring it up now, even though it's not relevant to this. Well, it is relevant. It's not relevant. Whether he had a drug problem or not, he's over that drug problem. He's talked about it before. Let's just move on. But that's where we are. That's the drama and the silliness. And so everybody feels that they feel like they have to, like, oh my God, I've got to go in and say something really strong to protect Yahweh. Right? And the other side's like, we got to do something really strong to go after their demigod so our God can win. And it's just like, you guys are all pains in the asses. Well, it does matter. No, it doesn't. Hunter Biden having issues with drugs doesn't matter, right? It doesn't at this point. At this point in time, it doesn't matter. But that's the craziness that we live in now. It's like we got to take this stuff up. He's been open about it. Everybody knows about it if you follow him. So we move on with ourselves. Why? Why'd you do that? And then you got hammered. If you're looking around, you're going, all right, if somebody's going to fire something like that here, you do it because you got nothing, right? You are just sterile and as clean as possible. You got nothing. Not that guy. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Should he or shouldn't he get a second chance? It's a fair question. Questions today that were being asked about Roger Goodell. First and foremost, they talked about Colin Kaepernick. Remember the whole Colin Kaepernick controversy. And Goodell was pretty straightforward.
As I've said to you before about creating an opportunity, which Colin's representatives came out in early October, and we created that opportunity. It was a unique opportunity, a credible opportunity, and he chose not to take it. I understand that, and, we've moved on here.
And for a guy that wants to play in the NFL, understand that I get why you don't trust the NFL. I got no problem with why you don't trust the NFL. but then wanting to play in the NFL, at some point in time, you were going to have to trust the NFL. Then you decided to do the umpteenth thing to shoot yourself in the foot. There's no reason for them to do anything else at this point in time. There's no reason. You've shot yourself in the foot. And the other thing they talked about was Michael Vick. So Michael Vick is going to be one of the co-captains for the Pro Bowl, the honorary captain. And, of course, Michael Vick, one of the long before what you see going on now in the NFL with the guy that I do believe is going to win Lamar Jackson, the MVP this year, there was Michael Vick. And then Michael Vick got into trouble. Bad trouble. Awful trouble with dogfighting. And now there's a petition with like 600,000 signatures because the NFL wants him removed from the honorary captain's position. And Goodell answered that question.
We, over the last, 9 years or so, I've supported Michael in his, what I think his recognition of the mistake that he made. He's paid a heavy price for that. He has been accountable for it. He's worked aggressively with the Humane Society and other institutions to deal with animal rights and to make sure people don't make the same mistake he made. And I admire that. I know that there are people out there who will never forgive him. He knows that. But I think this is a young man that has really taken his life in a positive direction, and we support that. So I don't anticipate any change, no.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm behind him 110%, and you have every right to have a disgust for what he did. Every right to have disgust for what he did with dogfighting. But he served his sentence. He's done a lot with animal rights, and he's out there talking about it, and he's done stuff. He's been an upstanding citizen in more ways than people realize. He had to file for bankruptcy. And rather than just file for bankruptcy and walk away, he paid back almost every single dollar he owed. And a lot of the reasons that he went bankrupt was the fact that he was supporting everybody. The judge says, I admire the fact that you want to take care of your family and friends because of where you came from, but you just can't be everything to everybody or you'll be nothing. And he had to make those decisions. And he paid back almost every dollar he owed. He has done some bad things. He'll readily admit that, doesn't shy away from it. But in a world where we scream of cancel culture, but at the same time, the people who want to cancel everybody also want people to get second chances. It's the pick and choose thing. And granted, it's animals and kids. Producer Anthony and I were talking about. He's like animals and kids, very much so. Animals and kids. But I think he's done enough. And in this cancel culture, they're coming. And when one of the ways you cancel culture is you stand up to it. Because eventually, right, cancel culture gets bored because some other new thing's going to come along in minutes that needs to be canceled. And once they realize they can't get you to do something, they leave. And I think this is good standing up to him. I think it is. And I watch him a couple times a week when he's on with Colin Cowherd. I like Colin's show, and guy knows his stuff. And again, he has turned his life around. And if we want to, it's so weird the way that we want to pick and choose who we don't like, who we do like, why we like it this way. This person can say something, it's okay. That person, we got to get rid of you. And no, I'm a guy that's, you got to live in the now and forgiveness. And I think he's paid his price. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. I don't know how much, I'm looking at this settlement here with Weinstein and who's paying for what. Now some people are saying, I don't know if I really want any of that. But, sometimes you have to say, are you going to sue till, he's not Michael Vick. As mad as Michael Vick was, I don't think Harvey's paying everybody back, even if he files for bankruptcy. So if you're suing because you want something, at some point in time, do you say, I got to take it because this is all I'm going to get?
Weinstein and his former company agreeing to settle claims with dozens of women who've alleged sexual misconduct against the disgraced movie mogul for $47 million. ABC News has learned the deal will not require Weinstein to admit any wrongdoing or pay anything to his accusers himself. The payouts instead coming from insurance companies representing Weinstein's former studio, the Weinstein Company.
Yeah, which they paid a lot into it, and people are starting to look and say, well, hold on a second. Well, I don't know if I want that, because they're putting some money in a thing where it's going to be holding till later. And a lot of that, and here's the thing, for a lot of people, some people just want it over. You know what? You can give me $500,000. I'm going to go away. At this point in time, I'm done. But there are other people that want to see it through. And the one thing they want is they want that admission that you did something.
Several of his alleged victims have rejected the payout, claiming it's unfair. As for Weinstein, no comment on this proposed settlement, but he continues to deny any allegations of non-consensual sex.
Yeah, and like with Epstein, right? His brother, who handles his estate, is willing to settle with people, but one of the things that he wants is he wants them to sign something that essentially says, I'll take this money, no further action, and he does not have to admit or, that at any point in time that he was guilty of any of these things. And I understand while he's going through criminal trial that's something you don't want, right? You don't want to say, yeah, I did it. No, by the way, I'm going through a criminal trial. That's stupid. But I think a lot of people want to see this thing through. But at some point, you say to yourself, he's not going to jail, because many of these people are going to get money, aren't getting a dime otherwise, and they have no recourse criminally. So you take, hey, I'd rather have, 20% of something than 100% of nothing and still not get any criminal justice? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Car Shield, great Christmas gift. Told my buddy Lloyd here, I said, I'm going to get you Car Shield for Christmas. The other day, he's like, I should get Car Shield. You know what he didn't do? He didn't get Car Shield. You know what he did do yesterday? Had to have his car taken somewhere, and he had to do it himself. Why? Because he didn't have Car Shield, and his car went, doesn't have a ton of miles. His car's perfect for it, too. It's just in a warranty. 65,000 miles on it. It's got issues. Luckily, he has a car to borrow. Otherwise, what was he going to do? Ride shares? Silly. Nobody wants to do that. He had to do a ride share to the Christmas party last night. It was hilarious. He's like, I was the weirdest ride share person ever. It was like a motivational speaker. And I'm like, really? So your Uber guy's a motivational speaker? Interesting. It was just the whole thing was uncomfortable. Man, you don't want that. Car Show gives you 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. And the shops you choose. He did know where he wanted to take it, but he still got to pay for it. You pay a small deductible, they get that person paid directly. Car Shield has helped over 1 million customers. They're ready to help you, and they've got everything for your budget, depending on what it is you need. You want something just specifically for the electronics in your car or for everything, they've got your cover repair handle. Call them today, 800-CAR-6000. Mention code Benson or visit carshield.com and use code Benson. That saves you 10% right there. 800-CAR-6000, code Benson, or carshield.com, code Benson saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I deserve love because of what I looked like. 329 points. My mom told me that it would be difficult to find love if I was heavy. I think every girl hopes they're going to get a hunky husband, so I totally hit the jackpot.
I absolutely love Kristen's size. I wouldn't mind if she was a little bit bigger.
Adriana is the hottest woman I've ever seen in my life.
How do I look?
You look amazing. I love every inch of joy. There's a lot of inches to love.
Yeah, because they're huge. One of them walks in. She's like, how do I look? I'm like a tent. Like somebody tented my house. Was that wrong, Phil? But funny. That felt, I don't even know anymore sometimes. Like, that crossed the line? Felt like it. Yeah, and It's creepy, right? Is it a fetish? Is it this, that, and the other? And look, guys like curves. At some point, we've passed curves, right? Like we've at some point you've gone, like we're past the curve. We're past it's unhealthy. But this is a new show. It's called Hot and Heavy, with the emphasis on heavy.
We're just two people that are different sizes, and I don't feel like there should be a stigma behind it.
Who seems to be the most offended by us together seems to be conventionally attractive women. I think they're just like,
jealous.
How did that big girl get that hunky guy?
Is it a sexual thing?
I knew it was going to be us versus the world, and it's very difficult.
If you want a child, you should have the gastric bypass surgery.
I'm not down with surgeries and all that.
Look, you just want to keep me fat.
They're huge. There's a couple of them in this that I'm telling you are massive. You 329, there's one. She's got to be. And these guys are good-looking dudes, right? And their buddies are trying to get them to date other women and stuff. And look, if that's who you love, I got no problem with it. It's the celebration of this, Jillian Michaels got hammered this week because she came out and said, we've made this thing where you're overweight, and not just you're 30 pounds overweight. It was like this, you were 300 pounds, so just deal with it. Morbid obesity, just, and we've made this PC thing where you can't say anything about it. You can't talk. And if you do, you're fat shamed, you this, that, and the other. It's wrong. It is. There's, at some point in time, you got a problem. You got to deal with it. You do. And it cost a ton, not just medically. It cost a ton to employers and just across the board. But there's just certain things you can't say, right? You say, I'm going to say it. It's not good. It's not healthy. She's right. Right? Well, it's easy for her to say. No. Look, it's people like her and the Charlize Therones in the world and the Brad Pitts. Those are genetic anomalies. That ain't happening for 99%. But you get to the point where I can't tell you've lost even the opportunity to have a chin, right? It goes your eyes, your nose, your lips, and then there's feet. At some point in time, come on. Just being a jerk. No, just being honest. Right? I'm sure all of us could lose 20 pounds. I'll raise my hand. But you know what? Try to eat pretty good. Work out every single day. But, man, 400 pounds, 500 pounds, celebrating it, that's what we do. We can't do anything other than that. Why? Because that's what we have to do with everything now. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us your love, your hate, your weight. Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
This is the best of Chad Benson.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The House Judiciary Committee is going to send to the floor of the House of Representatives 2 articles of impeachment. Those are charges against the president that the House will vote on, and if it passes, the president will be put on trial in the Senate that could remove him from office.
Could remove him. And we talked a bit about this yesterday in the battle that's going on, not between the likes of Trump and Pelosi or Schiff, or that's going on all the time, or even Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer, right? Because Mitch has come out and said, look, we're going to do this.
I would be totally surprised if there were 67 senators to remove the president. That remains my view. However, we are obligated under the Constitution to turn to it when it comes over, and we will.
Yeah, they will. What makes me, again, it's one of those things, what makes me laugh about where the fighting is coming now is what Mitch wants, which Mitch wants it very, very sterile, clean, quick. We're in, we're out. There's a 10-day limit. This is what I'm putting on it. We're going to get this done within 10 days, and we're going to move on because we know what's coming. Trump, no. Right? Because Trump likes to be loud. He wants to go out there and do it. He is, again, last night in Pennsylvania, Trump wants a reality show of the highest order in our government on television.
There are no crimes. They're impeaching me, and there are no crimes. This has to be a first in history. They're impeaching me. You know why? Because they want to win an election, and that's the only way they can do it.
Yeah, he starts, and then all of a sudden.
This is the lightest impeachment in the history of our country by far. It's not even like an impeachment.
It's not even like an impeachment, right? It's just, you think it's that, but it's not.
You saw their so-called articles of impeachment today? People are saying they're not even a crime. What happened? All of these horrible things, remember? Bribery and this and that. Where are they?
It's so funny when you listen because he's like talking to just the average person. Like there's a bunch of people in the room and he's just BSing with them. And then there was like, and that's it. It's like, hey, he's got together with like 20,000 of his closest friends, and he's gonna rail.
And some of these partisan lunatics have already said that if they fail this time, think of this, any Democrat that votes for this sham will be voting to sacrifice their House majority, their dignity, and their career.
No. He just soaks it up. He did. He soaks it up. And again, I understand, and we've talked about it, and we'll continue because there are people out there that, by any means necessary, they want to get rid of this guy. And we've already had a couple Democrats, including Al Green, our pal from Texas, who's already said, we know we're not going to get him on this one, but don't you think that we're not coming again, and impeachment will be back out there the minute we have a chance. So they're ready to go again. All the while, you've got 2020 coming up, right? Fast approaching. And somebody's going to be in the lead. The latest, there's going to be 7 on the stage next Thursday. So 8 days from now, there'll be 7 on the stage. Biden is pretty much leading everywhere. And I saw a great, so they're breaking down the numbers today. And this was what was hilarious. This is what was crazy is, so Bernie, 52% of people 18 to 35, Bernie's their person. You go to 60 plus, Bernie gets 2%. Why that's important is while this group, the younger group, is becoming the largest voting bloc and the largest generation, that 60 plus actually does vote. They do. And you know what else was very interesting as they're breaking down the numbers? Cory Booker's probably not going to be on stage. You know, he's talking about diversity, this, that, and the other. Amongst blacks, though, he has like 1%. And that's nuts. That's nuts. But Biden will be there.
Hey, do you ever notice where Biden keeps saying he's in the wrong state? Like if he's in Ohio, it's great to be in Iowa tonight. If he's in Pennsylvania, it's wonderful to be in the state of Delaware. What is wrong with this guy?
I have to be honest. He's like a comic. I was watching this thing with Joe Rogan and Matt Taibbi, and they were talking about that. Like he goes, I can't not laugh at him. Because some of the stuff he says, he's like a stand-up comic, and he hits it out the park, and his timing's awesome. And hey, you guys ever wonder? It just sounds like he's doing comedy. It does. Oh, goodness me. It's going to be crazy. It is. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Elizabeth Warren. This is very interesting. This was funny. Here's a perfect thing that she says that you go, well, actually not true, but they don't challenge her on it. Nobody will in the media, even if they had a chance.
He offered your taxpayer dollars, right, to Ukraine in return for Ukraine doing him a personal political favor.
Actually, you guys authorized our taxpayer dollars to go to them. He didn't offer. You guys authorized to put this together. He held it back, then released it. At the end of the day, our taxpayer dollars went there. So let's not forget that. Let's not. And the battle with her and Buttigieg is getting very real. They're getting snippy with one another. They are. And that's going to be very, very, I want to see how she takes him on. Because the last time they were on stage, he was the front runner and he more than held his own. Nobody really wanted to battle him. They went after her when she was the front runner. They're always going after Joe. But I want to see how they because now as it starts to thin out and we're really going to be top heavy soon, right? Like Yang's hanging on because the Yang gang's not letting him go anywhere. But when they start increasing, you need to get at least 7% in the national poll. Eventually, he's going to fade, and it's going to be probably Biden, Buttigieg, Warren, and Sanders will be the big four, and Bloomberg will be interesting to see how he does. But I'm telling you, man, it's interesting. It is. I sit back and I'm like, let's see how they battle this thing out, right? But I still think Biden. You go and you look, and Biden's leading every poll nationally. That's why there's opportunity that Bloomberg thinks. And I'm telling you, Hillary's still lurking out there. She's waiting, though. She wants somebody to come to her and say, you got to save us. You just have to save us. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. It was the slap heard round the world. Savannah, Georgia. A young news reporter covering a marathon gets a little tappity tap, which wasn't right, on her buttocks, if you will. And now the debate is out there.
You remember we just spoke with Alex Bazargian yesterday. She was covering a fun run for her Savannah, Georgia station on Saturday. And in this clip, which has now, by the way, been seen more than 11 million times, we see a runner come up behind her and apparently strike her on the bottom. It seemed on purpose. In an interview with Inside Edition, 43-year-old Tommy Calloway says he was trying to wave at the camera and he got caught up in the moment.
There was a misjudge in character and decision making. I touched her back. I did not know exactly where I touched her.
All right, so he touched her back. He slapped her on the butt. I'm not going to pretend that he didn't do that. But it became some just insanity over this. And he continues.
I did not see her facial reaction as I just kept on running. And if I did see her facial reaction, I would have been embarrassed. I'd have felt ashamed, and I would have stopped, turned around, and went back and apologized to her.
Yeah. So, and, of course, cancel culture, he's doomed, right? Like, he should probably have to register as a sex offender. And then she's been all over, right? I'm going to throw this out there. Nobody knew who she was last week. She's been on tons of morning shows. Her profile's raised 1,000%. Was it wrong what he did? Absolutely. But now it's, this victim, I'm going to say, you got slapped in the ass, and it was absolutely wrong what he did. But at some point in time, don't you just kind of go, well, you got hit in the butt, and we're going to move on with our lives? No, not in this day and age.
You're being a brat, get over it. So, what's the reaction to that point of view?
Well, I would say that maybe 10 years ago that was a more common thing in the culture, but it's not okay now. It's not okay to help yourself to a woman's body just because you feel like it. It's not playful. He hurt me, both physically and emotionally. And I think in order to make any kind of change, you have to be a little bit drastic, and you have to kind of chip away at this toxic culture that permeates our society.
No, you've made yourself a victim. You've made yourself a victim. And this right here is everything in this victim culture. What he did was wrong. I don't think anybody disputes that. Now, he disputes whether he meant to do it on purpose. And, again, you got to take, you looked at each other and say, okay, who do I believe here? I saw what you did. But also, let's for once not overstate something. Right? You were running. I mean, you were standing there. People were running by you. People were waving at the camera, doing crazy things. And look, people are stupid. People are stupid in front of a camera, and they don't care. And that's wrong, too. That's everybody. My God, we do at least one selfie death story every couple weeks because people are willing to do dumb things. This guy did something dumb. But then yesterday when she's on CBS Morning News, she says this, and this is just insanity.
I think what is most important here is that he took my power, and I'm trying to take that back.
If somebody slapping you in the ass takes your power away, you didn't have any power. You don't let people, and that's too often what happens nowadays, is we let people define and or take power away. Way too easy. You're giving it away. Right? You're giving it away. You are. You know, we've talked about on the show what happened to me as a kid with sexual abuse and stuff. You know what I didn't do? I never let anybody take my power. Right? I am who I am. I'm strong. Get past this. It's past me. I move on with my life. You're not taking my power. You're not robbing me of other things. If you're allowing a slapping the ass to take your power, sorry, life's going to be a real disappointment for you. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love, hate, it's all good. I always say this, and I continue. I'm okay with the arguing. I'm okay with discussions. But at some point in time, when you insult somebody, that's not how you start a conversation. You're more interested in being a troll, and that's not fun for anybody. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter and your Instagram. AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens, fastest growing organization over 50 in the country. Providing you amazing benefits. And the cause? Well, the cause they're fighting for you are things like Social Security reform, Medicare reform, making sure that, guess what, kids, they're there. Top of that, the benefits are, too numerous to mention. Retail, restaurant, hotel discounts, discounts on insurance, movie discounts, up to 50% off. Big discounts just in just about everything you can think of. And they are ready for you right now. Go join today. It's on me. It's free. It's 1 year. Go to amac.us/chat or call 888-355-1617. That's 888-355-1617. It's 1 year. It's a membership for free. You're going to love it. amac.us/Chad. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
The Chad Benson Show, where the sensible center hangs out. Hey, you! That doesn't mean you can put your feet up on the table.
You're despicable. This is Chad Benson.
You know, we were talking about the young woman who got whacked on the butt, and she's a reporter, and it was a marathon, she was doing a live hit, and they slapped her on the bottom, and, you know, now she's traumatized. And I said, you know, and Anthony brought up a great point during the break, is like, you're a reporter? Maybe find a new line of work. So what happens, you know, I mean, there are people in war zones. You got hit on the butt. Sorry, that guy overstepped the line. He was stupid. You see it all the time, right? New Year's Eve, I guarantee you, New Year's Eve, across the country, idiots are going to be doing dumb things in front of cameras while news people are doing stuff. And news people are going to continue to do stupid things like stand somewhere where people are wandering by who are going to be inebriated and dumb, and they shouldn't do something like that. But hey, you know what? Is what it is. It's saying that he robbed you of power. So many people are texting me and going, is she serious? Yeah. Again, I don't know her backstory. I don't know any of that stuff. Maybe there's something there that we don't know. But, it's this victim culture is just so bad. There's a great article today talking about narcissists. And as they get older, they tend to become less narcissistic. But one of the things that they talked about in this, right? And they said the first time you start to realize it's not all about you is when it's your first job and you have to, there's teamwork and stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. And as you start to have certain friends and families that become relationships across the way and all of these things. But one of the things they did say in there, there's one positive note to narcissism, is that narcissists tend to be far more mentally tough than other people, and that they're overcome certain things. And that's the reason why you see people in positions of power and in athletes and stuff, because narcissism, you have to have a certain ego to do certain things. You have to feel that you're better. You have to have this belief, and you have to be willing to get up when you get knocked down again. Nowadays, no, I don't think it really matters. It's crazy. It is. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. You don't have to knock anybody over. Just go, whew, and down they go.
A recent President Trump campaign video turns the commander-in-chief into Thanos, the murderous villain from the Avengers movies.
I am inevitable.
He snaps his fingers, and prominent Democrats, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, disappear. Now the guy who created Thanos for Marvel is speaking out. Jim Starlin telling The Hollywood Reporter he feels violated by the video, and it, quote, struck me that the leader of my country and the free world actually enjoys comparing himself to a mass murderer. In the movies, Thanos snaps his fingers and destroys half of all living creatures in the universe.
Yeah, but you know what? Thanos, if you watch any of these things, he's there because why? Well, because of climate change and all of this other stuff, and we can't survive, and the planet, there's just not enough resources and all. He's just saving the planet from its inevitability. Trump is so funny.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
The Chad Benson Show.
This is the best of Chad Benson.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
40! According to a new study, 40 is the age when people start to believe their bodies start to really break down. Right? They can't do the things they used to do. Like, it's funny because I go out and I play soccer pretty much on a daily basis. I play soccer anywhere between 4 to 6 times a week. And yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I won't say decline in, because as you get older, yeah, you're going to get slower, right? You're not as fast. Father Time always wins. Undefeated. Shouldn't it be person time? No, it's going to be Father Time on this one. Right? You can keep Mother Earth. We'll call it Father Time, and you guys can come up with some other, non-gender binary thing. But Father Time always wins, right? And you get smarter with age, right? Hopefully more wisdom. But, yeah, they talk about the fact that, yeah, the thing in the back that hurt a little bit when you were younger, and then the next day you bounce back, and I like that now, right? You get that twinge, you're like, oh! Right. And one of the things they talked about in this, as they did this study, is that over a period of time, as you get older, the older you get, the harder it is to do driving for long distances. And that's the one thing I know. It's like, so this weekend, I'm going to go out and celebrate my birthday with Jack. We'll do Christmas in between Christmas and the New Year's. He'll come out here, but I'll go out there and it's just a quick trip. I drive out Saturday, turn around and come back Sunday. Because he got to work and stuff, and he's got school. And I'll tell you what, I feel jet lagged at times. I really it kicks your butt. You're just you're like, oh my God. It is amazing that even though it's, it's 400 miles, plus we'll zip around, but it does feel like it's one of those situations where you're like, oh my God, I just can't believe that, this is, did I fly? No. The driving, the sitting, the not doing stuff, it's crazy. It is. But yeah, your arm hurts, everybody's got that now, right? Everybody's got that little, for right now, my lower back's a little sore because I did a trick a couple weeks ago. I'm like, I don't even know if I can still do this. I was playing soccer. And I'm like, I don't know if I can still do this anymore. And I did it. And then I was like, I shouldn't have done that. Because, everything's a little slower as you get older. Right? That's it. And the better you take care of it, the better diet you have, the more working out you do, you can fight it off a little bit. And over the weekend, I was watching 60 Minutes. They have a guy who believes, a scientist, and who believes in a lot of things, including he wants to have an app. And 60 Minutes did a great thing on him because he was associated for a while. He took money from Epstein. That was one of the things. I don't think he knew any of the stuff that was going on. I just think he saw a guy who had a bunch of money and he was like, I'll take it. And, but he says he thinks within 10 years, he'll have figured out how to reverse the aging or slow it down. So while it's not going to go, you're not going to be Benjamin Button. You can slow it down. And he also says that there's a DNA test, a genetics dating app that he wants to produce and he's trying to produce that will tell you based on your DNA and genetics, in particular when it comes to, how should I say this, reproducing, breeding, whatever you want to call it, whether or not it's a good thing. That sounds very eugenics-like. I just think his whole thing is we can eliminate some 7,000 potential genetic diseases and disorders by doing something like this. I don't know and he's trying to bring back the woolly mammoth, which I'm a huge fan of bringing back the mammoth, right? Like we all just, like if we're going to bring one back, like the go-to, everybody like, well, I've seen Jurassic Park, but I'd still like to try to see if we can bring back a team. No. If we're going to do it, let's start with the woolly mammoth. Let's just see. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Impeachment tonight, they'll start the debate in the committees because before they can ever take it to the full House and get the vote in the whole 9 yards, they have to vote it out of the committees.
The two charges are, one, abuse of power in the president's dealings with Ukraine, and two, obstruction of Congress, the president's stonewalling of every subpoena and request for documents and testimony from the executive branch he absolutely flatly turned down. They say that that's actually an impeachable offense because it would shift the balance of power to the president from Congress.
We'll see. We'll see. We know it's getting out of there. We know it's going to go for a full vote, most likely early next week, that will eventually become the trial in the Senate. Mitch McConnell said, look, we're bound by the Constitution, so we got to do this. And the debate then will become is, how does Mitch McConnell do this? He does it his way. He wants it no longer than 10 days. Shorter, the better. But to give a hearing, because in theory, he could just vote. He could say, look, we're going to take up a vote to see if we can dismiss charges. And they could say, we're going to dismiss charges, and that could be it. But he wants to, to give the people the opportunity to have a real hearing and to be transparent and hear everything. Trump wants to turn it into, Trumpapalooza. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I don't know what to say. Because there's always, whether it's a teacher at a high school in Northern California who thinks, hey, I'm going to go as my favorite rapper, DMX, or Common, or whatever, that I'm going to wear blackface, or it's an assignment. Somewhere along the line, somebody thinks, oh, this is no big deal. I can get away with this. No.
Some students, my understanding is, had corn. Some had wood. In regards to my son, he had slaves.
Angela Walker says she was shocked to find this assignment in her son's folder, asking him to set a price for a slave.
My husband is 10 times more hurt because being an African-American man and knowing that his family, son, and he even said to him, what are we doing here, bud? Like, do you understand there's no value on a life?
No. And look. You have to talk about it. This was not the way of going about doing it. Well, now you're starting to plant more corn. You're going to need more workers. So they're going to have to go get more workers. And there's not an abundance of unemployed people around. So you're going to have to go purchase them. No, this is not. There's ways of going about doing it. But somebody along the line thought, well, this is a good idea. What? No, this is a good idea. No.
One of the questions reads, you own a plantation or farm and therefore need more workers. You begin to get involved in the slave trade industry.
There's no value playing a game about slavery.
As the mother of a biracial child, but also a teacher herself in a diverse district, Walker says there are other ways to talk about the history of slavery. The principal says it was about market practices in early America. She says that's her hope in this situation, that her son's teacher and the district as a whole can learn from this.
Yeah, and now everybody's got to be sent to sensitivity training. It was a stupid assignment. I think we can all agree, and we tend to go overboard, right? Like, okay, everybody's got to go do this, right? Everybody's got to do. Everybody's going. They have no you have no choice. You have to go, and there's just you have to. Everybody take a deep breath. She's on administrative or he's on administrative leave. Whoever he or she, I don't care, but they're on administrative. We need to talk, and this is the part of the problem. It seems to be all or nothing, right? Like, that's with our history now. It's all or nothing. No, it's not. Truths need to be talked. It was a absolute horrific thing, and it is a stain on us as Americans and our country for all of these things. It needs to be discussed. Right? It does. And I don't think I think somebody thought, well, I'm going to show them like what it was like back then. No, it's just there's ways you go about doing things. Right? Now, this doesn't rise to the level of blackface controversy. It's and does the person need to be canceled, right? Because that's the first thing. It's like, do we need to cancel this person forever? Right? And make sure that they wear the scarlet big C for canceled. Right? And so wherever they go, they'll be, oh, there goes that teacher. So it's interesting. Stupid thing to do. But I'm always amazed that adults in particular who teach children think these things are good. Not that we shouldn't have discussions, because we absolutely do need to have discussions, and we need to be able to talk. And we need to be able to be open. And it's tough in this day and age. Wall Street Journal had an amazing piece the other day about Harvard, where they say the political diversity on the campus, percentage-wise, is now zero. Is now absolutely zero. That maybe there are 3 or 4 professors that are politically conservative. And that's it. You got to be able to talk about everything. Politics, race, all of these things. And everybody needs to be able to participate. Everybody does. But it's so funny when you watch something like this. And I was watching several of the interviews they're doing with people. And I'm like, again, somebody thought, and I don't know what goes through your mind. Like, hey, I got a great idea. Sometimes I think they think, well, then I'm not the bad guy. Right? Like, this is no big deal. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet, text, love, hate, your weight, whatever it is. It's all good. Chad, that's not very nice. I'm just saying you can do it if you want to. You can. Still going on. It's the never-ending thing. They still going on? Yeah. A football game on tonight. I'm going to watch that instead. There's only so much I can take. I still produce. Feels like, how long is this thing going on? Forever. Forever. They're never going to stop. That's the beauty of what's going on now. None of that. They're never going to stop impeaching. And another Democrat, by the way, came out today and said that doesn't matter what happens in here, and even if he wins in 2020, they're going to continue to impeach. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. All right. Check this out. AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens. What do? They give big time to you, like a membership for free. Fastest growing organization over 50 in America. So if you're 50 and over, boom, this is it. You can join for free. It's 1 year. It's on me. Amazing benefits that include retail, restaurant, hotel discounts, and so much more. Plus, they're out there actively talking to politicians, making sure that, you know what, that they stay away from stuff that would impact you financially in a bad way, and take care of the things they need to, like making sure Social Security and Medicare are solvent. Yeah, like they have money and stuff in it in the future. It's a great organization with great benefits, and you can join for free right now. Go to amac.us/Chad. That's amac.us/Chad, or call 888-355-1617. That's 888-355-1617. It's 1 year. It's free. It's on me. amac.us/Chad. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
Plea deal this.
Mueller, arrest me.
Chad will trade you 2 perjury charges for 1 collusion and throw in a reduced charge of obstruction for free.
Yeah, I'd do that.
For just listening to The Chad Benson Show.
Is this you? You eat out too much. Oh, yeah. It's probably me. But I travel a lot, too, so it's hard. Usually I try to eat my lunch in every day, but it's tough. Like tonight, I won't be home. Weekend, I'm traveling. It's tough. But 1 in 3 Americans admit to dining out too much, which is a big financial mistake. And on top of that, it hurts your waistline. Oh, goodness me. And part of that, they say, is because we go and we eat a meal and we think, okay, X amount of calories. We don't even think about the calories. And you find out that meal may be your entire intake for the day. Oh, yeah. On top of that, they say, and we're spending a ton, right? Like we're spending a ton of money eating out. Like an absolute, it's $3,500 a year on average. And we think we're spending less, right? Because we underestimate the cost. And a lot of times you'll go, like, even now, it's like, it's the drinks, right? Like, even if you just, like, for me, you go get a soda. And you're like, wait a minute, my hamburger was $1.50 or $2, and my soda's $4.50. Is there $3.50 in my soda? That's what I want to know. But yeah, it's crazy the amount that we're spending. So we're going debt because of food. We overspend. What would you do with that extra $3,500 if you had it right now? So we're spending tons of money on food, and our waistlines are expanding. That is not a win.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
It is not. It is not. Just want to let you guys know that. But we do spend a ton, and I am guilty of it, right? And again, another weekend where I'm not home, and I don't get to eat, and I just know it's like as good as I try to eat, and I eat pretty good, it's still, it's like, hey, I'll be traveling for 2 of those days, so I'm going to grab a snack here, grab a snack there. Jack and I are going to he's got his things planned. We're probably going to go see Jumanji, and and your popcorn. Next thing you know, you look up and you're like, wow, I spent a ton of money, and I ate like crap. That's why I try to work out as much as I do.
It was about straight up over here, and it went straight that way.
Stop. From outside their Mesa home, DJ Mayer and Carrie Burnett shot this video Sunday around 9 p.m.
And it started kind of moving diagonal across, trying to figure out which way it was heading. And as it did, that's when we noticed it started dropping things from it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to watch this thing. So they're Mesa, right? And you can see these like red, like flares or orbs, they look like. They're not quite sure. And then stuff's coming out of them, just a little here and a little there. And you got something similar that happened in California, just like this weird looking thing.
What is that thing in the middle then? They're too high to be drones. Dude, what is that?
That's weird, buddy. Hold on a second. I can't tell if it's drones or what. They look big.
Look at some of them are disappearing. Dude, they're aliens, dude. Dude, we're all going to die.
That's it. They're aliens. That's exactly it. Man, they're aliens. They're coming to get us, right? They're doing this. Maybe it is aliens. You don't know. You don't. But I love UFO stuff because it's crazy, and because everybody that's rarely do you like, I can't believe what I saw. And to me, it was amazing. I can't put my finger on it, and science has no explanation for it. And it's like, man, I was just sitting out here, and I was just enjoying myself. We were just having a good old time. And the next thing you know, and they could be in the middle of Brooklyn, New York, and that's what they would sound like. Next thing you know, here it comes. Just a big ship. Lollipop. Just right there in front of us. Just dropping stuff. My fat wife and I are hanging out with our dog. Just finished inflating the tires in the trailer. 323-538-2423. It's not very nice, Chad. Tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Again, congratulations to Greta Thunberg being the Time Person of the Year. A worthy choice, I say. And that's all kidding aside, a worthy choice. Chad Benson Show.
You're listening to the best of Chad Benson.
This is the Chad Benson Show.